Daylight robbery. Let's talk about 3 lessons learned from daylight robbery that we can use to supersize and grow our business. Daylight robbery, I love this. It's called the window tax. In 1690, King William III in the United Kingdom in England, he got himself into financial trouble, and he had exhausted all possible ways to raise money, to raise funds, and to meet his financial needs. So he and his advisors devised a plan whereby they would tax everyone based on the number and size of windows that they had in their homes. And so if you had more windows and more light coming into your house, you paid more money in taxes. So from 1696, I believe they passed that law, to 1851. So for a couple hundred years, people were taxed on how much light was allowed to come in their house. Well, because of this situation, of course, just like any other time we're faced with a problem or a challenge, we get creative and we find ways to solve that problem, solve that challenge. So in Ireland, in England, people bricked up their windows. And you can still go around the English countryside today. I've not been there, but I've heard. You'll see houses with bricked up windows. People in Ireland started to install doors, half doors that opened, because then they weren't charged as a window tax. It was counted as a door, but the bottom half would stay shut to keep animals and things out and children in, I suppose, and the top would be opened up to allow light to come into the home. And so it was like having light come in the home, but it was considered daylight robbery because they weren't paying taxes on the doors that they installed instead of windows in their homes. So as we travel about places that were English territories, you'll find that they, in that period of time, it impacted the architecture and the style of homes. They had teeny tiny windows or almost no windows in their homes. So what does it mean today? Today, daylight robbery means it's a situation where one is charged too much or charged an exorbitant rate. Have you ever gone to get your car fixed or had a flat tire or needed a tow truck or like on a holiday and been charged just an exorbitant amount of money for that task? Sometimes we pay too much because of the situation, the circumstances. But as a practice, how does that make us feel? I remember for years, and I'm going to name names and use an example. I had, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name. T-Mobile. T-Mobile was my cell phone service provider. And as such, I had free hotspots because that was part of the package. And then one day, all of a sudden, T-Mobile discovered how they could pay and they could charge additional funds for using a hotspot. So they just started charging, I think it was like, and it wasn't huge, right? It wasn't an exorbitant amount. It was kind of just the principle of the thing, but it was like $5 a month or something, or $10.95 a month. I don't remember now. But because they figured out a way to charge for it, they started charging for it. So instead of grandfathering people in if they asked, they just created bad feelings with me as a customer by just every time they figured out how to charge for something, they charge for it. Now, I notice Microsoft is doing the same thing. Microsoft has a software that it used to be free, where you could transfer and take the audio out of your video files, and it's, you know, taking the MP3 out of the MP4 file. And they figured out a way to charge for it. I think it was last year, and now it's $3.95 a month so that I can pull the audio out of my videos and put them on my podcast. Is it a lot? No. Is it annoying, and does it give me bad feelings about that company? Yes. So what are the 3 lessons we can learn from daylight robbery and the window tax? That's part of our, oh, I lost my window. See, they bricked up the windows. That's one of my granddaughter's doll windows. So what can we learn from this? Number 1, there's always a way. There's always a solution to any problem, right? King William III solved his problem by making up a tax. Do we ever see that going on in the world today? Oh, let's make up a tax for billionaires that haven't acknowledged an income off of stocks and bonds and things, and let's charge them a tax. It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. So, and I'm not even a billionaire, so why do I care? But because what happens when we do things like that as governments and administrations, we lose sight of what's really important, and we slip. Our values and our morals and our beliefs slip, and all of a sudden we're doing more and more and impacting more and more people with ridiculous, illegal, immoral expectations. So there's always a way, right? Either both positive and negative. There's always a solution. There's always a way. Number 2, challenges invite creative solutions, right? People came up with and invented half doors, double, doors that could be used as windows. They came up with the idea of bricking up their windows. There's always a solution on both sides of the coin, and challenges invite creative solutions, right? The more creative we are, the more opportunity we have to succeed in different areas and aspects of our life, especially in growing and supersizing our business. And finally, sometimes we pay too high a price, but we learn the lesson from that, right? And we want to keep in mind as we're setting things up in our business, how we feel and to treat other people the way we want to be treated. If I don't feel good about being charged for something just because a company figures out a way to charge for that when they've been giving it to us all along, I personally would never do that. I wouldn't just start charging for something that I've been doing all along for free without there being a huge value add or a huge change so that that is seamless to the people that I've already been serving. I think companies forget, and we see this all the time in a lot of industries. I think of cable TV, cellular companies, satellite providers, mostly digital things that are really cheap and easy to provide anyway. They are so busy getting new customers and offering deals to new customers that they don't respect and take care of their long-term customers. We see this in the cell phone industry. We see it in the phone industry. We see it in everything where there's new startup discounts, and then all of a sudden you hit the regular rate, and you've gone from paying maybe $49 a month to $159 a month or something, and you're like, whoa. And you've been a customer for 10 years and you still can't get access to any of the cheaper or more, or any of the benefits that the new people are getting. It's kind of like giving illegal aliens aid and money just for coming to America. We could go off on that too. So, daylight robbery. Love to know your experience and your thoughts on this particular idiom or expression. I love the history of it. I loved finding out about it. I honestly don't think I've experienced daylight robbery, in my opinion, but I've never used the expression, never even knew what it meant. So this is one of those money idioms for the month of November that has been really fun to look into. I'd love to know what you think about it. If my UK friends chime in and let me know, do they really still have bricked up windows over there? And same in Ireland and other provinces. Are there really, is that a lot in common in the architecture, the half doors and things, or the twofold doors? We've got those here in America now, right? The double doors, which I think are fascinating and amazing in their own right, if they're built into the architecture the right way. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another money idiom. If you have a money idiom you'd like to know about the history or the origin of, hit me up and I'll look into that for you. Have an awesome day. See you tomorrow.